Hello, everyone. This is Red Suit Interviews, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Your Movie Sucks. So, thank you, Adam, for joining me. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
The excitement is enticing right now. So
It's a lot later in the day for me.
that is true. So it's 9 o'clock is the moment.
It's 9:11 right now.
9:11. Oh shit. Never forget. So I'm very curious with generally you've been on YouTube now. How long have you been now on YouTube with everything?
Um, my first channel was created in 2006. My film review channel was created in June 2010. So I guess we're coming up to like this is about almost 9 years on my film review channel, and then almost whatever the math is for the other one. just my it was just like old dumb skits from when I was in like junior high school. That wasn't a important.
It made you who you are today. That's what's important.
I guess so.
So what has kept you so motivated over these years of doing film reviews? Because it's hard work. You do a lot. So what's kept you motivated and kept you doing what you do?
Just the idea of I guess getting to a better place and setting myself up for better things and opening doors in general, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what do you mean by like sort of better things and opening more doors?
Well, I mean the more of a presence I have on YouTube and in general, the easier it is to get new projects funded and have an audience for those projects. So it's the film review channel has nothing to do with my music, but it's helped my music out a lot by introducing people to it and being able to, since doing this full time, I have the ability to afford and schedule recording sessions that are necessary for me to complete the album I'm working on, which might not be possible otherwise.
Speaking of the album, there is a lot of interest with when that next album's going to come out, especially after Cool Cat retweeted you.
Yeah, so weird.
And he didn't take it down after all the replies basically said that was you. So that was.
I'm unsure he's seen the replies because I checked and that account still isn't blocked. It's the only one of my 4 Twitter accounts that he hasn't blocked. And I've only ever interacted with him on one of them. So he actively looked for the other accounts and blocked them.
That is bizarre. So wait, so your
It's
other
very strange because I've never tried communicating with him on any of the other accounts.
Well,
so it's not like I was harassing him or anything. He just decided to do it because he was mad.
So can you sort of just give us this sort of diverged into a more interesting thing I was wanting to get later, but now that we're talking about it, so why was he mad at you ultimately? Like what got him triggered so hard?
Because I called him out because he wouldn't listen to, I made my review. I was the first person to ever review Cool Cat. He took it pretty well. For whatever reason, mainly probably because, I told people to support it and buy his shit. And he, I guess, was able to create a fan base based off of my review. And then other people started reviewing it. And then I guess he was like, oh, so nobody likes my movie? He got really mad at I Hate Everything at Alex. And even though his review was very similar to mine and it wasn't even any more mean than mine, but he freaked out. He started copyright claiming and copyright striking people's videos, including Alex's. And behind the scenes, I was trying to help Alex out. I was trying to reason with Derek, being like, here's examples of the Streisand effect, so this is why that won't work. Here's copyright law. This is fair use. Like, it's not you. This isn't your opinion. His content, his review of your film is fair use, and you cannot claim that he is doing something illegal when you are in fact breaking the law by trying to remove and censor his video, and as well as other smaller YouTubers whose videos got blocked. And I was trying to, I sent two separate, like 10 paragraph long emails trying to be like reasoning with this person behind the scenes. And he wound up publishing a video called like Cool Cat and Fair Use or something. And basically he said it would be a two-part video. I don't know if he ever made more than one part, but it was like 20 minutes long, and him just like saying that he has a background in law and then just saying all of these completely incorrect things about fair use. And he essentially had to, he brought me into the argument because he was understanding that he was under a lot of fire, and he didn't have much public support for this. And so then in his video, where he's literally just lying about copyright, he's like, just ask Adam from YMS, blah blah blah, implying that I would agree with him on this, which put me in a really difficult situation because like my entire channel is based off of fair use, right? And so it'd be massively hypocritical for me to side with him on that, as much as I wanted to remain on good terms with him. And like I said, I tried very, very hard and thoroughly and politely to deal with it behind the scenes in a way where I could reason with him. That never happened. He didn't listen to me. So I made a video called Cool Cat Learns Fair Use. It's about 20 minutes long. And I politely, giving him as much credit as possible, went over why he's full of shit, why he is misinformed and spreading misinformation on copyright, and calling him out on it. And I didn't do anything mean with that. I didn't do anything what's the word, vitriolic, malicious, nothing malicious. And he responded by blocking me, and not only blocking me, but on 3 out of 4 of my accounts. And during the time that was happening, he had a Indiegogo campaign for his film Gun Self-Defense for Women. And in the campaign, one of the things that he promised was that I would have a cameo in it. And he literally, in his campaign video, he said I would have a cameo in it. And I had already recorded my footage and sent it to him, because I literally just was in front of a green screen. And I still have that footage. I might release it someday. It's pretty funny.
You have to release it.
Yeah, I will. I'm waiting for the right time. And he removed that from the Indiegogo campaign, re-uploaded his campaign video, with the only difference being the part where he mentions that I'm a part of it. But by that point, he had already gotten like X amount of dollars in donations, which just kind of makes the campaign fraudulent, which this wouldn't even be the last time that he does something like that. He wound up doing a very similar thing with the Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting thing. I don't know if you heard of that. But...
I saw a couple of things on Reddit about that, even with like Mumkey Jones or something along those lines. I don't know too much about that, so even if you want to talk about that.
He raised money for a new Cool Cat movie called Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting. And then after the campaign was like 10 grand in or something, like I don't remember the exact numbers. After that point, he just changed it and was like, no, we're not doing a school shooting movie. We're doing a cooking stranger danger movie. And I don't even think that got made. So I don't know what's happening. Every time he pretends there's a new Cool Cat movie, it's literally just him recycling the same footage over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, even the first Cool Cat movie that I reviewed was literally just 3 other shorter films that were stitched together.
Yeah. That's what I learned with interviewing Jason, the guy who played Cool Cat. Like, I initially didn't realize that it was 3 short films shot over like 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which explains why Vivica A. Fox and Eric Estrada were in it, because them agreeing to be in that would be more of like a PSA for kids rather than a film. But then he just took the footage and called it a movie and then put them on the cover art. So, don't know how they feel about that.
Yeah, well, that was a great tweet I saw Derek posted about him meeting Eric Estrada at a convention or something like that, and his face just had pure confusion on it, holding Cool Cat merchandise. It was perfect.
Mm.
Um, but with because you saw the interview with Cool Cat, or Jason Johnston, who played Cool Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Did it sort of confirm sort of things you thought about the film, or did it sort of shine a light where you weren't really expecting it to go with like how he sort of perceived it? Did you sort of
Well, I mean, yeah, there are certain things that I pointed out. Like, there's no way he can see when he's going down the stairs and he's going really slowly, and then he just said it. So I'm like, yep, this is pretty obvious. The one tidbit of that interview that I really enjoyed was when he was talking about how Daddy Derek tried to get Cool Cat for the 420 Awards, which is not surprising at all to me because of just how little awareness Daddy Derek has over what's appropriate for like children's entertainment and what's appropriate for his children's entertainment brand. Like, as you've already seen with all of the tweets on his official Cool Cat account, I mean, very strange. I would have loved to have seen Cool Cat at the 420 Awards. I'm kind of upset that Jason decided to talk him out of it because, I mean, that would have been pretty fab, I think.
that would have been genuinely amazing, and I can understand why Jason wouldn't think it would have been a good.
I mean, it's not like real people and real children are watching the film unironically, so it would only do good for his brand.
Well, that's the
The
thing.
more of a meme it becomes, the better.
That's my thing, especially with Derek, is that he needs to learn to embrace the community. I feel like with you especially, he's sort of definitely he initially reached out for you and talked to you about that sort of stuff, but then he threw everything away. Like, I was thinking as well, like the other day, like what if we could all come together and do something where we can bridge the gap, or I like to say bridge the cat, between Daddy Derek and the community, where it would be like a group song we could all do. That we all get together, we sing a song like bridge the cat, bridge the gap. We do that, and we all sing it together, and he gets inspired by it, and he then becomes part of the community game. What's your thoughts on that?
That's wishful thinking. I I'm not sure that would ever happen.
You know,
And also, I don't trust him. I think he's crazy. So
it's so
that's why I'm
hard.
not attending the 20 awards. I would really like to go, but he kind of
Well,
scares me.
is he live streaming it?
That's the plan, but who knows if that'll work?
Yeah. Well, like, do you have to pay a ticket to go and watch the live stream, or is it only for the Las Vegas show? Do you know?
Just for the live show, you pay a ticket. I think the live stream's free. I don't know if the live stream's going to work. That's my concern. I would love to see the live stream.
The live stream will be beautiful, majestical, awesome, amazing. But I would honestly, hell, like, it would be great for me if I can actually convince Derek to come and talk to me. Because I was talking to Jason, and Jason's like, yeah, we'll try and get something organized after 420 because he's apparently pretty busy with that.
Yeah, but he blocked you on Twitter now.
Yeah, he blocked me on Twitter for the I'm pretty sure it would have been for Cool Cat Reads Cool Cat Twitter, for that one probably. But I'm hoping for, because I just want to talk to him like one on one and talk to him about that and try and suss out who he is and try and get something, because like I feel like Jason has an in, but I feel like maybe Jason may have burnt bridges as well, considering some of the things he said.
I'm concerned about that because he's clearly seen your interview now.
Yeah.
Right. And Jason, although not really having any malicious intent or anything, kind of makes fun of Derek during your interview. And we've already seen that Derek is completely willing to just reuse old voice recordings of Cool Cat and jump in the suit himself. So that might just happen again.
It would be. No, well, that's my thing. Is like if there's any possibility of trying to reconcile this sort of thing, that would be fun. That would be a great time for everyone.
You know, okay, I feel like I am pretty fucking good at reconciling with people, and I already tried. I feel like I'm a pretty reasonable, mature, respectful person when I'm trying to be, you know? And I tried very hard with that man, and I don't think it's possible. I don't think that there is any rationalizing with him.
Well, there's one thing. Did you try through the power of music? Okay. Well, he liked your Beatles cover. You know, bridge the cat over music. Bridge the cat over Beatles. We didn't. We got to think about these things.
I'm not. I mean, like, I don't know what you're implying. I'm not gonna like serenade him. I'm not gonna like.
No, but what if I made a song and we all join in with it?
He would have to agree to that first, though.
Not him necessarily. We get together. We people just from throughout the community. We're just like fans or whatever. Just want to sing a part or whatever. We come together. We create something, and everyone just tweets storming.
So everybody tweets at him this song where we're basically just saying like, "Hey, calm the fuck down, Derek."
Maybe not quite calm. Maybe not calm the fuck down. Maybe let's just put everything to bed. You know, things were said that weren't really meant. You know, we all love Cool Cat. Isn't that enough? You know, plus yeah, you know, we can just move on because you know if we love you and you love us, you earn a lot of money. So
I'm gonna give you a hard maybe on that one.
maybe being unsuccessful.
What do you mean?
Like maybe it'll succeed.
As in, I would not. As in, I don't. You're. Are you requesting my participation here? Because the answer would be maybe.
Sure. If you wanted to participate or not, it'd be fine. It'd be helpful, but if you wanted to, you didn't have to. If you want to, be good. But anyway, speaking, you're talking about with your music. We'll sidetrack from the Cool Cat stuff for now because this is an interview. We want to get more information about you necessarily. So with your music, so we were talking about that before. It just, you seem to know a lot, or like know how to play a lot of instruments and stuff. Like, how did this all come about? Like, did you learn from a very young age, or?
Yeah. Yeah. I was playing piano more or less since I was like in my diapers. So, and then just, you know, I, even when I was like super young in like elementary school, like 6 years old or something, I was just, I was like composing my own little things. Um, and then, you know, once you know piano, it's a lot easier to learn or teach yourself other instruments. So
I know that feeling
that's kind of
especially because
interesting.
I only learned piano like a year or two ago,
Mhm.
and I've gone from then on to play guitar and other things, and it's much easier once
Mhm.
you understand like the theory and the basics of instruments in general, especially from piano. That's what I sort of gathered from it. But with your band, like when's the next album coming out? Because you're talking about like with with the cover thing you release and like producing new music, that sort of thing. When's the album? When are we expecting that?
Either this year or next year. It's in the mixing process, but there's a bunch that needs to be done with it before I'm gonna say it's ready. And even once it's ready, like even once it's mixed and mastered, like I need to figure out distribution and album art and finish my music videos I've been working on. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been working on it for like 3 years now. So yep, it'll be ready once it's ready.
Well, I know especially just from like your Reddit, especially a lot of people chomping at the bit for it, which I think is a good thing to have a lot of anticipation for. Um,
Hmm.
and speaking of your community, how has it been for you, especially with growing and like you're almost at 1 million subs right now? Like how like do you have a guess of like when you're going to be at 1 million? Like is it how many?
Um, Social Blade seems to think in a year from now or something. I guess so. Probably that.
I guess you've been doing it for 9 years and you're at 900,000. I guess 100,000 each year. That sort of,
Yeah.
yeah. So how's it been now having this like somewhat cult-like following behind you? Like, has it impacted? Like, do you get recognized a lot? How does it feel to be do it on a daily basis? Have these people?
Um, yeah, I get recognized. I I don't know. I don't know the general sense of how it feels. Like I might need a more specific question. Um, it's
Have you felt has there been many interactions like on the streets? Like how's generally felt when people come up to you? Is there many people coming up to you and being like, "Oh, I love your stuff," or is it people coming up to you going,
yeah.
poor interview, 4 out of 10"? Like, what's the?
I think that if people recognize me and they're not fans, that they'll probably not say anything to me. So the interactions that I get are always positive. Um, yeah, it depends on where I am. If I'm like at a convention or a film festival, it'll happen more often. Otherwise, day to day life, hit or miss, I guess. Like it depends. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not at all.
Fair enough. Have you had any bad fan interactions? Because I've talked to some people, and Quentin Reviews, he talked about that he got approached by a fan in a gym shower. Um,
Hmm, that's funny. Yeah, well, I don't go to the gym. But there have been fans that have approached me like in a bathroom and I'd just be like, "Okay, well, I'm going to wash my hands and then we can talk outside." So, I mean, you can't expect everybody to act normally when they're if they're nervous, I guess. I'm a fairly tolerant and understanding person, I think. Um and so if there's any like awkward interactions, it doesn't really bug me.
yeah, that's fair enough. And with your community, because there's a lot of memes surrounding you with like people sort of like I don't necessarily say making fun of you, but just sort of like pointing out like the whole good movie 6 out of 10 people making that sort of thing. Is there?
Yeah, I mean, it means that I have like a style and I guess a formula to some extent that is recognizable enough that it's worthy of parody. So that's not really a bad thing. Um, yeah, I mean, the people that I guess are the most critical of me are people that, from what I've noticed, don't really know much about me. you know like very often if people are being like super serious about it and super malicious about it, they're usually misrepresenting me in some way. um I feel like for the most part people get it, and like within my own fan base, I don't know, there's a lot of people that that they don't really fully understand my rating system, I guess. And there's people that are like, "Oh, everything's a 6." But it's like, what I guess what people have to understand about that is that I don't watch every movie ever. So for me to see a movie in theaters, like either it has to be something that I at least feel I'll get some sort of enjoyment out of, even if it's bad, or something that I'm actually interested in seeing. And so you're probably not going to see a lot of like threes and fours. You're probably not going to see a lot of eights and nines because those are so rare. And I would love to see eights and nines all the time. At film festivals, they happen more often. Um, 6 out of 10 is the above average kind of like good. Like not super bland, but like it does something, and that happens to be a lot of movies in theaters that I watch because if something from the marketing material has any chance or potential to be a quality film, most of those films won't be all that great, so they wind up at about a 6. So it's not really all that bizarre or unreasonable for me to be rating a lot of things 6 out of 10. That's just what a lot of movies are to me. So
That's fair enough. And I just sort of just earlier what you said about like people who just sort of misrepresent sort of what you do. What's sort of been like one of the biggest things that sort of frustrates you the most, that like people just sort of feel like you've been unfairly criticized in one certain way?
I don't know, the communities that seem to like misrepresent me the most, they only ever like seem to, I guess, watch my reviews on popular, well-received films that I think were either average or not good, or like just barely good but not great. And those are the ones that people really focus on. And so there's a lot of like, "Oh, he doesn't like anything. Like he doesn't like any superhero movies." It's like, whatever. Shazam just came out. I liked that. There's plenty of things that I like. You just don't watch those videos, and that's fine. If you're not really a part of my fan base, then whatever. Like it's you can't really please everybody. So
No, that's fair. That's fair enough. And we're talking just before, just sort of like when you go and see a movie and that sort of going, and you go to movies that you're sort of going to want to see. How have you sort of noticed that with your now career of film reviews, how's it impacted, or if it's impacted at all, your natural sort of movie experience in any way?
I don't think it has. I don't think it has at all. I mean, like I put more thought into the films that I see over time, but that easily could have been the case either way. So, yeah, I don't know if it really has impacted the way that I watch movies other than, if I'm watching it for the podcast in my own home, I might have something out to take notes.
That's fair enough. And I guess we sort of talk. I'm very curious because it seems like you network a lot with a lot of different people. Like I only saw you as I don't know, probably a couple of months ago on like the DT podcast with Destiny and Triax.
Hmm.
And you seem like with Needle Drop. Damn, I just forgot his name. Like
Anthony Fantana.
yeah, Anthony Fantano. Like interacting with like a firm, like large community of people. Like how does this come about? Like how do you generally sort of get around and network with people?
Um, Twitter. I mean, if somebody enjoys your content and you enjoy theirs, then you might be following each other. And if you're following each other, then you can send them a DM and see if you want to collaborate in any kind of way. That's usually how it works.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And is there anyone, especially that is sort of outside your current sort of like sphere, that you would really want to talk to? Is there anyone that you really want to collaborate with at the moment?
Hmm. Uh,
And you
I don't
can't,
know.
sorry, you can't scapegoat on
Honestly,
me. We're
like,
doing it now, okay? Just saying, you know.
I don't really get too hung up on that sort of thing because there's always going to be like people that I like that don't necessarily like me, and I never really feel like I have to collaborate with anybody. Um, yeah, it really I don't know, like the my general aspirations at this point in time when I'm looking for things that I would like really love to do, they're I guess not as YouTube centered. Like I'm thinking of, like what bands would I like to tour with, or what director would I like to collaborate with, or something. So, um, not to say that my interactions and relationships with the YouTube community are not important or anything. It's just I feel like I already have that at this point.
Okay. That's really interesting. So you're sort of more looking to sort of networking. You'd be more interested sort of networking in sort of other areas rather than necessarily like YouTube video creation.
Yeah, I'm like I don't know. There's very few YouTubers that I'm not like on good terms with or anything. So like I don't really feel like I'm doing poorly in that sense.
Oh, that's fair. And you just sort of mentioned about directors. Has it been, because like some of the stuff you've done has gotten millions of views and it's got a massive outreach. Have you sort of come back, other than like obviously like Cool Cat in that regard, any sort of impact on directors, even in like more mainstream films, about like, oh, I just saw this guy do a review on me and it was kind of cool or whatever?
Um yeah, the director of Shazam tweeted me out saying, "Wow, a positive review from your movie sucks." And
That's cool.
the director of Searching presumably watched my video cuz he responded to somebody's tweet about it. Um Yeah, there's a few of those. I mean, like we're gonna see that happen more often over time because as this is the new generation of media, so directors growing up or may or may not be consuming YouTube content, and they may or may not already be aware of channels like mine and watch them as they're in film school or exiting film school and getting a career. So yeah, it happens. And yeah, it's pretty cool, I think.
Okay. And with your videos, um, how do you tackle, like, how do you go and tackle something like Unfriended or even Cool Cat? Like, what's your process with that? Is some of it improvised, or you try and script out as much as possible? How much do you sort of add in, at take away? Like, what's your general process with like big projects like that?
um I watched the film, and then at that point I'll have decided whether or not I want to do a review on it. I'll watch it again and I'll take notes, like basically just point form of things that I want to mention in my video. I'll go through the internet and try to find as much interview footage as possible, go through all of it, trim it down, decide what pieces would correlate well with the points I'm making, or what pieces of interview footage are really funny and exploitable in that sense. Um, and then I'll start recording a bunch of voiceover, and I'll be basically going through the film on my computer as I'm doing the voiceover. And then uh, in the editing process, sometimes there's new things that I'll pick up as I'm going through the movie, at a slower way, essentially just like frame by frame. But yeah, and a lot of the times, a lot of the editing jokes are things that are essentially just come up with on the spot. Um, if there's a moment, I'm like, oh, this would be funny, and then I'll just do it.
Fair enough. And what do you think would be sort of the hardest and easiest thing about what you do?
Um, I don't know. The the hardest thing is just finding enough time for everything, because like if I'm going to be doing projects like my yearly lists, a lot of that is just movie watching, and so um when like you can't review films without watching them, and even if you watch something, there's no guarantee that you will review it. And so uh during those parts of the process, it can feel a little bit like tedious and stressful, in the sense that like, okay, well, I'm getting things done by watching all of these things, but I'm not editing and producing content at the same time. So it's like for future content. And so, if there's longer gaps in between my upload rate during those points, then, the audience members might not understand that just because there aren't any videos within a week, 2 weeks, sometimes more, although not as often anymore. Um, they might not understand that I'm actually still working on things. And it's very difficult, especially if there's time that I need to take off for like family or anything like that. Working any other job, you can book off vacation time. And if you're working a job that has many employees, other people will get things done for you while you're gone. And the work doesn't necessarily pile up on you as an individual. But anytime that I take off, things don't get done while I'm not doing them. So, aside from some projects that I outsource to other editors, but I still have to be the person that reviews them. I still have to be the person that publishes and that records them. It's like all my voice. And so, yeah, a lot of the times, just things wind up piling up. So, time is the biggest challenge, and I just try to be as productive as possible in general.
Yeah, I didn't even initially think of that, especially what you're saying about the amount of time that you have to spend just watching movies. And it's such an obvious thing, but you don't really think of that when you.
Oh yeah,
Um,
especially for things where I'm going to watch a movie twice.
yeah.
You know,
Um,
because that's a part of the process for pretty much anything. Well, any of the bigger projects for reviewing. So.
I know what you mean. Like even just like watching your year reviews. That is a very very detailed series. And initially when you said like your top 10, I can't remember which one it was, and then I'm like, okay, so it could be 10 movies, but then it's like top 50 of what you've seen as well on top of that. So like, so I'm there thinking like, okay, so it's not only 10 movies, but it's 50 movies, but then also excluding probably like another 50 on top of that. You've probably gone and sit down and like scraped off.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's way more than that. Jesus. Yeah, I watch like, I don't know. It's definitely more than 100 movies a year for my lists.
Fair enough. Yeah. And that yeah, I didn't even think of that initially. It just seems so obvious, but there it is. And with your Adam and Pals and that content, how did you meet Scoot and Gael?
We're all furries. We know each other. I met Scoot at a con. Gael I met through a friend. Gael's my roommate right now, and Scoot's just a good friend that joins me on streams and stuff. Yeah, it's helped a lot with quickies. Those are the things that he edits, and basically before that point, it was, as I was saying, just managing time. It was a lot more difficult to justify making a quickie for something in theaters when I'm working on larger projects. So like right now I'm going through my 2007 list, and when a project's that large and it's going to take several months to actually complete, it's like, okay, well, the audience is waiting for more content. It's like I could make a quickie on something, but then that's like the whole day, watching the film, recording the audio, and then editing it. Sometimes more than a day, sometimes 2 days, depending on the movie. um, Whereas now it's like, okay, I'm watching a film. Maybe I'll have seen the film anyway, and I didn't just watch it for the explicit purpose of reviewing it. And all I have to do is just record the audio and send it over, and then he's able to edit it and send it back to me. It means that there's more quickie content being able to come out, and it's easier for me to justify making it.
Okay. And with, I guess, tying in all the sort of video creation and editing in all that regard, what do you think's been your most, not necessarily your best, but your most satisfying video you've made, or even just piece of art you've created? What's been your most satisfying?
An April Fool's video titled "Top 10 Films of 1996."
The Big Man Tyrone, is that the one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a very special one.
Yeah.
It's like it's I'm proud of that one. It was a lot of work. It was, dare I say, ambitious, and it worked. And I'm happy with that video.
Well, that was the first time I ever saw Big Man Tyrone, and from there I actually got the interview because I was from seeing that with him. So that was
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah, so if you didn't make that video, I would have never spoken to Big Man Tyrone. So I guess thank you for that.
Problem.
Anyway, I thought we could get into now, since we're hitting sort of the close to the 40-minute mark. I thought we could just speed run some Reddit questions that were asked, because I put out earlier this week's people if they wanted to ask you some questions, and I thought we can speed run a few of them. You don't have to rush on too hard, but there's a few. So first one by Joe on a boat. I don't know if this one like meant to be sort of like a pot shot at you or something. I don't know what it means, but ask if you. Yeah, he says, "Do you have any family heirlooms?"
This is so Joe on a boat is a smaller YouTuber who does kind of like satirical comedy videos, and he started like kind of like a Space Ghost Coast to Coast style interview thing, and I was the first person he interviewed, and he asked me that question on there. I'm assuming he'll ask it to other guests too. He's very funny.
Okay.
He's kind of like almost like a Tim and Eric character. So I'm not. I mean, I answered the question on that podcast, or not podcast interview, um, and I talked about some oversized wooden forks and spoons, but that's about it.
That's a solid family heirloom to have.
Yeah.
I guess people, if you want to check out that interview, sounds good. So check it out. I'll probably throw a link in the description as well. If you watch it on YouTube. Joe on a boat. Another one by Star Peep. Any filmmakers that are being praised consistently by critics, you could not understand or get into. So has there been any filmmakers that have been constantly praised that you just couldn't get into?
Oh, I guess Adam Wingard. He sucks. People keep insisting that he's made good movies. I don't think he's made a single good movie.
Okay. Well, I'm not too sure. What movie has he made? I haven't heard of him.
He's responsible for the disaster that was the Netflix Death Note movie. But before that, he'd made films like You're Next and The Guest, which apparently everybody thinks are great movies, and I just don't think they're good at all. Yeah, but that it's just one of those things, especially when it comes to horror movies. There are people that refuse to accept that some people might not like them as much. That's just one of those things.
Okay. Another one by Absolute Hate. Ask him what his dream was when he was little. Like, what did small YMS wanted to be when he grew up?
When I was really little, I wanted to be an astronaut. Um, and then after that point, I was like musician or something, just general art person, which I guess I get to be at this point.
That's true. And so, what diverted your sort of initial ambitions with music to get into sort of more film and even film review?
I wouldn't say my ambitions were diverted at all. It
Oh,
was
sorry, not
just a
much
matter
diverted,
of
but like
what,
you sort of went and did that sort of stuff as well. Sorry.
yeah, it's just a matter of what made sense to do at the time. And I had my music channel on YouTube before I created my film review channel. I I had released my demo CD, which is the only like recorded music that I currently have out right now, and it's not reflective of my current abilities. So the album coming out is going to sound a lot better than that. That's for sure, because that was just like a cheap thing I made when I was 19. Um, and basically, the music videos that I made for them they're really shitty, but the whole point of them was essentially not necessarily to function as any kind of like creative music video, but just to show people that I was playing all the instruments, right? And I thought that that alone would be enough to impress people and like share the videos and stuff. But the problem is a couple things. The music that I'm making is like far too personal to be that widely shareable. If I was a band like OK Go, then I could make music videos that were like really cool and trippy. Like the reason why they're able to make um Rube Goldberg machine music videos is because their songs are like it's not terrible music or anything, but they're not like personal. They're not like super personal songs. They're really kind of bland in my opinion. Like there's a couple songs that I like, but they're really just like you could put it to anything. You could make any kind of music video with those songs. And so
It's like sort of alternate pop, I guess. It's sort of
it's very poppy, and I don't really make poppy music, I don't think. And so when it came down to understanding internet algorithms, I guess, which I've always been very aware of how things trend on the internet, how to get any kind of views or attention, and um, the only reasonable way I could get my music out to people would be if I just started doing cover songs, because that was what a lot of people were doing. You would do cover songs or do OK Go, you know, and your music would blow up on YouTube. You'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, I also make my own original music, and so that wasn't an option for me because the music that I listen to is not like what was super popular at the time. It's not Lady Gaga, and so even if I did do cover songs, like I did like there was a video where I added some piano to like a Bright Eyes song that I really liked. But like even then, it's like there's not enough people that listen to Bright Eyes for people to go like, "Wow, what a great cover! Wow, that's really cool." He's playing all the instruments. Like there's nothing shareable about it, like to a massive scale. And so when I started my film review channel and Red Letter Media's Plinkett reviews were already out. I saw that format and I was like, oh, I can do that because um, I have a lot of things to say about movies. I have a lot of opinions that go kind of against the grain. I wasn't forcing any of these opinions. I just happened to have them. My first review was of Precious, this like multiple Oscar nominee movie that everybody was just gushing over, and I was like, it's actually really not great. And so, I had already been recommending lots of movies to friends, and they would come up to me asking for more recommendations, and depending on the person I would recommend different movies. So I already knew that I at least had some sort of value in terms of being able to talk about movies and people be interested in what I have to say about them. And so from that point, I was like, okay, well, going to focus on this film review channel because in the same way that cover songs are more likely to get your voice heard in music, making content reviewing movies is the exact same thing. It's derivative. You're talking about something that already exists that people are already talking about, and search algorithms will recommend your content next to the content that they're already searching. The people that you interview, you'll get people that are coming because they're interested in seeing the person that you're interviewing, and it's the same sort of thing. It's how the internet, right? And once you have your own um, dedicated following of people that like you for the content that you're producing, then you could essentially make whatever you want if people are subscribed to you. Um, and so I focused all of my efforts on my YouTube channel. I treated it like my job even before I was making money off of it for like 3 years. Um, and just that I didn't have as much time for music during that point in time, and that's why the only material I have out is from 2010. It's been like almost 10 years. And so now I'm in a position where I have a solid fan base. People are interested in what I have to say, and I can uh, kind of go back and release these songs that have existed for so long that just I wasn't able to get out for many reasons, including audience, including financial situation, etc. But it just meant that to get my YouTube channel off the ground, there were a lot of sacrifices that I had to make, and so now I'm just trying to get back to the music stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a very good response to that. And well, you're just talking about like how community sort of appreciates what you do because it's you who puts it out. Has there been anything that you sort of noticed that you've tried doing that just really, just for some reason or another, just wasn't accepted by your community?
There's reviews that people disagree with, but generally, if I'm doing a project, there's some people that will be interested in seeing it. Not just because it's me, but because I try to make content that I like, So if people have the same tastes as me or similar tastes to me, then me putting out things that I like, someone else who watches my content will probably enjoy it.
No, that's very true. I like everything that I've seen definitely from what you've done, even with like the admin pals and stuff like that. That stuff's like entertaining as hell, but still has that same sort of like similar element, I guess, like with like sort of like your creative voice, which sort of does drift between sort of your projects. Um, and that's sort of definitely what keeps me interested. But we'll head back to the Reddit questions, and we'll hit to question by Dawn Chorus, who asks, "How many fursuits do you own?"
Zero. I do not own a single fursuit.
Sorry, Chorus, it's only zero. Um, by Paul Tuss or Paul L TUS or whatever. He wants to know what your favorite critics are.
That's a good question. I It really depends. I mean, I like Ebert. I like Mark Kermode. I like Stuckman. But like, there's no, like my podcast co-hosts Ralph and Alex. Like, I enjoy watching their content. I don't think there's anybody that I like completely agree with though. Um, but I mean, it really depends. It really depends. I can't say that I don't know if I have like a favorite critic or anything.
Oh, that's fair. Just even personally for me, like one of the most favorite critics I have is just someone who has like I don't necessarily agree with their taste as such, but someone who's like very consistent with specific taste. Even with like games and stuff like that. I remember there was a Red Letter Media side project done by Jack and Rich Evans, and I can't remember what the project was called. And they did that for a while.
Previously recorded.
Yeah, previously recorded. Yeah, but they had a very very specific taste in video games, which was not really the wide mainstream appreciation. But I really enjoyed that sort of content just because it was like a very specific and very much focused on that perspective, which even sort of helped me with sort of what I like as well in content. But anyway, let's get to the next one with Little CT. He asks, so YMS has stated his favorite music groups and what are some of his favorite albums are. Perhaps ask him what his least favorite music albums are and why, and what has he learned from them.
Usually if something's so bad, then I won't listen to an album. I'll have already heard one track and know that it's not for me. There's a band that I discovered maybe like 4 or 5 days ago called The Shags from the 1970s, and their Wikipedia page is hilarious. And it's probably the most like some of the most irritating music you'll ever hear, but it's also kind of genuine. It's like, you know how you have like So Bad That It's Good films? It's like that, but music. It's kind of cool. So I can't even say that's my least favorite because I've listened to the album like 5 times now. So I mean, I don't know. I really yeah, I can't say I have like a really least favorite album.
Okay. Now we'll flip back to film because Overka underscore CG asks, it's all known that your favorite film, YMS, is The Holy Mountain, but what is your least favorite film ever made?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a least favorite. Whenever people ask, I usually just say like Megan is Missing or something. You know, it's a bad movie. There's like no redeemable qualities to it. There's I don't know, like my answer might change when the new Lion King's out or something. That looks like actually offensive. So
I love that it's the live action adaptation of it with no live action. That's the
yeah,
that's the best.
it looks disgusting. It actually looks upsetting to me.
Well, what looks more disgusting, Aladdin or the Lion King?
The Lion King.
Really?
100%. Yeah. Aladdin looks funny. Aladdin looks like a dumb Bollywood movie. The Lion King just pisses me off.
Fair enough. I can understand that, especially from the trailers. It looks genuinely like color-wise gross, but also just gross on just like a larger scale, just on everything.
It looks horrendous.
But Beyonce's in it, so you know, you know,
she wasn't even good in Austin Powers 3.
What?
The worst part of that movie.
You're kidding. You telling me the song where she sings Gold Member is not that great?
I didn't say the song. I was talking about her performance.
You're kidding. Wow. It's like that entire movie felt like a little bit of like a rehashing the same joke kind of 3 times in a row, you know? Anyway, we'll skip that question. Actually, let's ask it. Shit, fuck it. Filthy Misha asks, why are you gay?
Because I'm attracted to males.
Fuck. Shit. Got him there.
Got him.
Got him good. Are there any YouTubers... Oh, we already asked that one, actually. Oh, I already asked that one earlier. Squareman asks... I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's NIDYOD WUD. So it goes NDRC WUD. I have no idea what that means, and I'm just curious if you had any idea what that was.
I have no idea what that means either.
Okay, cool.
You could have just like said some sort of Nazi dog whistle and not know it. You never know.
I don't want to be that person now. Great, awesome. So that being said, YMS, what's your opinion on National Socialism?
I'm not a historian. I don't know. Like, is that just synonymous for the Nazi Party?
That is literally Nazi. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're dumb.
Oh wow! What a shocking take on that one. I thought socialism was good. No. Anyway, we'll get back to the Reddit questions. Oh god, my phone's dying. There we go. Okay, so here we go. If you could remove 3 movies from existence, what would they be and why? And that was from Burnout Beat.
The Lion King live action remake, The Lion King 2, and The Lion King 1.5. Easy.
Wow. So anything is it? Why do you have like such a disdain for the Lion King series? Did you just feel like it's just
Oh, I love the first movie.
No,
Just
but like
everything
the
else
outside. When I say franchise, I mean like the franchise part, not necessarily the first part.
I mean, if I wanted to spend like 10 more minutes thinking, I probably would have chosen two other answers. But I just don't like the sequels to The Lion King. They're probably, I don't know, like I'm thinking removing a movie from existence has different implications than just not liking it. You know, you could say, I'm not going to say Megan is missing because I made a review on that. My review wouldn't have existed if that movie didn't exist. So I see no negative fallback from the sequels and remakes to The Lion King's not existing. So that's the easiest, quickest answer I can give, I guess.
Fair enough. And like 75% normal asks, are lions sexier than horses?
Yes,
Why?
because I'm attracted to anthropomorphic lions more than I'm attracted to anthropomorphic horses, I guess. Because nobody decides their sexuality and you can't control your desires no matter what you're attracted to.
That's fair enough. I want to see there's not enough anthropomorphic horses that have hands, not hoofs. Like BoJack Horseman has that, but I want more. I want more hands horses. I don't want as many horses.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it. You say that, but on what scale? In popular media, because in furry art, I would say most have hands.
No, I'm just saying more popular medium. Okay, I want to be closeted.
There aren't a lot of anthro horses in popular media in the first place.
Maybe. Well, what's that movie? Flash, the
What
zebra
are you
movie.
thinking? What do you have to choose from?
I'll take back my comment now.
Like, what can you name other than BoJack?
I bet there was a horse in Animalia that probably had hoofs.
I don't even know what that is.
It was a book, and then now it became a TV series on Nickelodeon a long time ago. That's all I can remember. It comes to my mind. There's probably a horse in that that had hoofs. Anyway.
Probably.
Next question. We've got Slug Baiting asks, is Anti Fantano wait, no, is this Anti Fantano here? Is it him who's slug baiting? I don't know.
They're asking about who was cropped in the side of the picture you posted on the subreddit.
Oh, of course. Okay, sorry. I wasn't too sure if he was asking if he's the biggest music nerd. Or something like that. Because there was a couple of things like that, but I wasn't too sure if it was like, is he the biggest music nerd or something like that. Anyway, were there any movies specifically that made you want to be a film critic by Nihilist Jesus Christ. Nihilist Garfield.
I don't know. When I started doing my film review stuff on YouTube, it was more or less deciding to talk about films that I feel I had things to say about. So the first reviews I made were like, Precious, Quarantine, which was just a really shitty remake of Wreck, which I just found to be a complete misrepresentation of what the movie should be. Toy Story 3 was one at the time. I thought it sucked. M. Night's whole catalog, his whole filmography, I always wanted to talk about that. So, yeah, anything that I have anything to say about, I guess.
Okay, so we'll finish. So I want to ask another question that I generally ask a few of my guests. But the last Reddit question is, does Cool Cat still love him? By Big Boss Man 538. Do you feel like Cool Cat still loves you?
That's what he said in your interview, so yeah.
That's true. Oh, are you going to make use of that somehow?
We'll see, because I am more concerned about whether or not bridges will be burnt with Daddy Derek and Jason Johnston.
This is why we gotta bridge the cat!
If it turns, okay, but if it turns out that bridges are already burnt irreparably, then maybe I'll use it.
Make the bridges out of cats. Hashtag bridge the cat.
At the same time, I would need some sort of a fair use argument for it, which I think parody would still qualify, but I'd have to give it some more thought.
Yeah, that was like one of the interesting things because I was suggesting to him like maybe you could do like a Big Bang Tyrone thing with Big Cat. Oh, with Cool Cat. Then I realized he doesn't own the properties for it.
Yeah, exactly. He's just an actor.
Yeah, that's a hard one. But anyway, last question. And I've asked this for numerous ones, and I generally get a different answer for this. And I've asked like Destiny, Vermin Supreme, some non sequitur guys. I don't know if you know them. And the question is, it's a hypothetical.
Anything?
It's a hypothetical, and so it goes. Let's say you died and you went to heaven, and God's up there, and he looks at you and he goes, "Look, you know what, Adam? Nazis were right from the very beginning. From the very beginning, okay. In fact, they didn't go hard enough. You know, it's like didn't go hard enough. Hitler shouldn't have been the leader because he had brown hair. He wasn't pure Aryan. So, Adam, gonna send you back now to Earth. What I want you to do is tell everyone, and as soon as you let anyone know, everyone will know that anyone who's not Aryan was pretty much a mistake and will go to hell. So if you do that, you get let back in heaven when you die next, or if you don't, you go to hell. But
If I do what? If I kill Jews?
no, you don't have to necessarily do anything. You just have to let the world know the truth.
Oh, so I have to like start propagating the whole Jewish question thing, and
But
then I'll
like
go to
as
heaven.
soon as like he's given you pretty much the omnipotent power that as soon as you let it known to be in the world, that everyone knows the truth. Like there's no taking it back. Everyone will know as soon as you want everyone to know. You're pretty much there with the switch.
But then would that result in the death of Jews?
Potentially.
Like what implications here?
Well, if that's the case, then yeah, probably. It's kind of hard to say.
Well, okay. So realistically, if this happened, my assumption would be that it's a hallucination and I wouldn't do it because no matter what you see or hear, like you can't see or hear anything without your physical brain, without your eyes, your ears, right? So whatever I saw would not I would have no sort of reason to believe that it was accurate. So I don't know if I would ever do that. Like if there was some way to prove that what I experienced was not a hallucination, then maybe I guess because suffering for an eternity in constant pain in hell is not, the favorable outcome. Anybody that pretends as though they would try to avoid that they wouldn't try to avoid that would change their mind pretty quickly once it actually happened. But I don't believe in any of that shit, and I wouldn't. If it happened, I would assume that it was a hallucination anyway. So why would I do that?
Fair enough. No, that's quite interesting. It's quite interesting that like so many people will immediately go like, oh yeah, I'd say everything. I don't want to like be tortured for the rest of my life, or be like, oh, it's the new morals of the world. Like this is a moral truth. Like may as well just let it be known. But anyway, I guess we can end it up here because I don't know how long we're gonna last with this thing because we're at real shit internet speeds. Anyway, so thank you very much, Adam, for joining me. If people haven't seen you before and they're watching this, where can they find you?
Search up YMS in Google. It stands for Your Movie Sucks. There's my main channel. And Unkindness is my music channel. It's linked in the side of my main channel. There's my gaming channel, Adam Plays, ADUMPLAZE, or ZE. My Twitch is the same name as my gaming channel, Adam Plays. My podcast is Sardonicast. And, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And everyone watching, if you're watching on Twitch, go check out our YouTube down below. Check out Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But thank you, Adam, again for watching, and we'll catch you guys all next time. Bye-bye.